Becky. Welcome back to my channel. I have another Disney video for you guys. I'm wearing my Disney shirt that my oldest daughter designed. It says Eat, Sleep, Disney, Repeat. So if you're a Disney lover like me and you're interested in this shirt and you want to support my daughter's Teespring shop, which is actually in my name, but she's designing some of the shirts in there, definitely check out the link in the description box where you can pick this one up in different colors and different styles if you're a Disney fanatic like I am. In today's video, I have 4 things that overall just make me love this resort and that keeps us coming back every single year. And then a couple things at the end that I really feel like they could improve and do better. So if you want to see and hear a little bit more about Port Orleans Riverside and my opinion of it, then stay tuned. So a little bit of a backstory on Port Orleans Riverside. It's actually a kind of a sister resort with Port Orleans French Quarter. They are side by side. You can walk to the different resorts with a walking path, or you can take a boat from one resort to the other. So that's really nice, and it gives you kind of a community feel and really gives you a sense of the area of the country they're trying to portray, which is like the Deep South, Louisiana, kind of New Orleans type atmosphere. You definitely get that atmosphere. Obviously, Port Orleans French Quarter, you've got, you know, more of the French Quarter of Louisiana style, and then if you go to Riverside, you've got a lot of the old Southern homes, kind of plantation style part of Louisiana. So you get a little bit of a taste of those different areas within Louisiana with the 2 different resorts. I have been staying at Port Orleans Riverside since, I'm pretty sure it was the year it opened, back in 1992. It used to be called Dixie Landings, and it took me years to stop calling it that. They actually changed the name from Dixie Landings to Port Orleans Riverside, I believe, in 2001. We would go to Disney every year. We would always stay there. So for that reason, it feels really comfortable and it does feel like home. So I love that. The first thing I love about Riverside, which is actually kind of a new feature that several of the Disney resorts are offering, is the service your way option. I talked about this, I believe, in 2018, where they're having certain resorts on property where they allow you to opt out of housekeeping, or mousekeeping as they call it, meaning when you check in, you tell them you do not want housekeeping to come to your room, and they will give you a gift card for each night of your stay -1 in exchange for you opting out of housekeeping. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get things that you need. You just have to call the housekeeping button on your phone and tell them, I need towels, I need soap, we need, you know, laundry bags, whatever you need. They'll bring it to you and they'll collect your dirty laundry at that time when they come to bring you new things, but they're not going to come and clean your room every day. They're not going to make your bed. They're not going to empty your trash without you asking them. They're not going to give you new towels and all that stuff unless you request it. Now, you also cannot opt out of housekeeping if you are bringing a pet, and Riverside is a pet-friendly resort right now, so you can bring your pet for an additional cost, but if you are bringing a pet with you and they're staying in the room, you cannot opt out of housekeeping. So trying to find the most recent list of Disney resorts that offer the service your way option, meaning you can opt out of housekeeping. Right now it says All-Star Movies, All-Star Music, All-Star Sports, Disney's Art of Animation, Caribbean Beach, Coronado Springs, Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground, Pop Century, Port Orleans French Quarter, Port Orleans Riverside. And like I said, those are all the resorts that I know of at this time that are allowing you to opt out of housekeeping with the service your way option. I really love it because opting out of housekeeping basically gives us enough in a gift card, so it pretty much pays for one of our meals just by opting out of housekeeping. So for us, it is really a good option and I really enjoy it. That's another reason why now Riverside is even more appealing, because it is one of the resorts where you can do that. Another thing I really like about Riverside is the atmosphere. I think that's honestly, of all the things on my list, that is probably the biggest part of why I love Riverside, because it does feel like home, because, you know, I've gone there my whole life, but the grounds are absolutely beautiful. You are on the Sassagoula River, which is a waterway that attaches Port Orleans Riverside to French Quarter to Disney Springs. You can take a boat for free to any of those locations back and forth. So it's really a beautiful location with the bridges that go over the river, the convenience of the riverboat that will take you to those locations. And I think for us, that's part of the excitement. We always check in, we take a nap, and then we take that Sassagoula riverboat from Port Orleans Riverside to Disney Springs to eat and shop and then come back. Like, it's just really, really beautiful, and that is part of the experience. And we're not people that stay at the resort all the time. We hardly ever go to the pool. We don't have like resort days or we just hang around the resort all day unless it was like raining or something. We are not people that stay at the resort all the time, but I think it's still worth staying there because I like coming back to it at the end of a busy day. It is so low-key and peaceful and relaxing and beautiful. And I personally feel like that Riverside, beauty-wise, really should be a deluxe resort. Shh, don't tell Disney I said that, because I don't want them to make it a deluxe resort. It is a moderate resort, so it's not the most expensive and it's not the cheapest. But I really feel like looks-wise and beauty-wise, it is definitely up there with the deluxe resorts, in my opinion. And I just really love it, especially at night when they've got all the bridges to walk over and the beautiful gardens and the fountains that light up. I mean, it just is an incredible resort just to spend some time walking around and looking at and experiencing. And I think that, for me, is a huge part of why we continue to go back to Riverside, because it is so calming and relaxing. Some of the other resorts, especially some of the value ones, and there's even a couple moderate ones that are just kind of like bright and Florida kind of in your face colors, which I realize they're authentic to maybe the area or the theming of the resort, but to me that just tends to look a little bit hotter and kind of more hectic. I really like that Riverside is all subdued. It's like Old South. It's beautiful charm, and it really is laid back and calming and peaceful and relaxing, and I love it. Can you tell? I love it just a little bit. And one of my third favorite thing about Riverside, and I kind of just mentioned that already, but is the boat that you can take from the resort to French Quarter or to Disney Springs. I think that's a huge convenience. It's really fun. It's not a very long boat ride at all, and it's a very enjoyable boat ride because you're going to get to see the French Quarter, you're going to get to see some of the golf course, you're going to get to see some of Saratoga Springs, and then obviously you get to downtown, or you get to Disney Springs, and you can easily get to any of the restaurants and shops that they have there and then take the boat back to your resort. So I just think it's a really fun boat ride. It's a nice alternative to driving, and I think it's a great option that you have at Riverside. Another thing that we really love about Riverside are some of the activities that you can do there. You can actually rent a horse-drawn carriage ride, which is really fun. We've done that several times, and it takes you around the grounds of French Quarter a little bit and then mostly Riverside. I recommend that at night because it's just so beautiful with the lights on the water and seeing all the different resort buildings at night with the lights on and the fountains with the colors. We really love doing that at nighttime. There's also the Surrey ride that you can take. There's the bicycle for like several people. You can even go fishing when you're on property at Riverside. So it's just a really fun resort with lots of fun stuff to do. And so those are the reasons that I love it, that I go back every single year. And it really does feel like home. In addition to the fact that they do have the royal rooms, which are special rooms. They're a little bit more expensive than some of their other rooms, but they have a whole princess theme, and the headboards do something really neat. I don't want to tell you in case you haven't been, but I think they are in the most beautiful part of the resort, the most beautiful buildings, the most beautiful area. Those royal rooms are in those areas, and so I feel like if you have a little girl that loves princesses, they would love that room, and it is, in my opinion, in the most beautiful part of the resort. So that being said, there are several things that I think that they could do better, that they need to improve to make the experience better for everybody. So that's what I'm going to talk about next. And the first thing, and I have a big problem with this, I got made fun of last time because I complained about it, but I don't understand why the designated smoking areas are on the walkways at Riverside. They're on the main walkway where you're trying to walk and you're enjoying the beautiful, the nature and the water and the flowers and the gardens. And then every, 10 feet or so, you've got a smoking section. So you have to kind of hold your breath and power walk through that area. I don't understand that. And I know a lot of people do smoke and they want to be able to have a place to smoke. And I think that's fine. I just don't understand why they put it on the main walking area where everybody, including children, has to walk through to enjoy the beautiful surroundings that they have spent all this time and money to make. But then there's smoking sections right on that same pathway. I don't really understand that. So I feel like that's definitely something they need to improve. Also, the smoking section near the lobby is in the back, kind of in the back of the lobby area by the arcade. So you've got kids coming and going in and out of the arcade. You've got people walking to the restaurant in the lobby area, like in the main building, and you're having to walk past these people that are sitting there smoking right by the pathway, right by the arcade, right by the main building. It just doesn't make sense to me, and I feel like they need to be put somewhere else, kind of more out of the way, so that people that don't smoke or are allergic to smoke or sensitive to smoke like me don't have to walk through it to get to where I'm going or to be able to enjoy the surroundings. Another thing that we definitely, my family all agrees that they need to improve at Riverside, and I'm sure that probably a lot of the hotel cafeterias are this way, but I feel like overall, they close too early. Yes, I realize that the people that work there want to go home, and I understand that, but you know, there are probably a lot of people that will be willing to work a little bit later or another shift that will be willing to come in just to stay open even an hour or two later, because the cafeteria does close at 11. A lot of times, even if the park that you were at closed at 9, it would be a little bit of a struggle to get out of the park, into your car, through traffic, and back to your resort to be able to eat by 11. And that happened to us pretty much every night that we got back from the park. We wanted to get something to eat, and they were closed or getting ready to close. So even if they didn't have all of the windows open, like you didn't have as many options, it would still be nice if there was something available in the cafeteria a little bit later. We did find that the cafeteria in the Contemporary is open until midnight, and that was nice because on the day that we left, I'm not sure if it was Magic Kingdom or Epcot we were leaving, but we were on the monorail anyway. We noticed that it was open, and so we got off at 8 because we knew that our cafeteria at our resort had closed at 11. So even if it's just sandwiches and snacks and maybe bowls of cereal and maybe, you know, chicken nuggets or pizza, just a couple options, but that would be a really nice thing to be able to have access to later than 11 o'clock. The last thing that I don't like about Riverside, and this is not just Riverside specific, it's across the board now, all of the Disney resorts will charge you to park your car there if you have your own vehicle. And I think that's really unfortunate. I understand that a lot of the amusement parks in the area already do this, but I feel like that's not necessary. And I definitely think that staying at a Disney resort is a big enough expense already, especially if you're at a moderate or a deluxe level. And then to tack on a parking fee just to park your car there, I don't really think that's fair, and I think it's definitely unnecessary. But it's an unfortunate part of staying at a Disney resort now. So they just actually increased the Disney parking fee per night. So for any reservations made from June 18th of this year, 2019 and beyond, they have actually raised the price. So Value Resort now, it's going to cost you $15 per night to park at the resort. A moderate resort is going to cost you $20 per night to park there, and then deluxe and deluxe villa resorts, it is $25 additional per night just to park your own vehicle. So I've talked about this in other videos. I wholeheartedly disagree with this. I don't think it's right. I think staying on Disney property is a huge part of going to Disney World. I think it's almost as much of the experience as going to the parks almost, especially for me and for our family, it is definitely. So to add extra money on just to park, you know, for people that drive or locals, it is really unfortunate. I don't think it's fair, and it is something I wish they would change. Unfortunately though, because people like me and everybody else who continues to go and continues to pay that fee, they're not going to change it because nobody's going to stop going and nobody's going to stop paying that fee. Am I upset about it enough to not go? No. But, you know, it's little things like that that add up that keep some people from being able to afford to go. And it could very well be me at some point. You know, if they keep increasing the ticket prices and they keep increasing the price to stay at the resort and they keep increasing the price to pay at the park and they keep increasing the price to pay for food, eventually people like us who are just middle-class families, you know, they're not going to be able to go anymore, and it's going to be something that's even farther and farther out of reach. So it is really unfortunate. I hate to see things like this happening because I just wonder, like, is there ever going to be an end to it? I don't know. But at this point, is it going to stop me from going? No. Do I feel like it's still worth staying on Disney property, even knowing that there's the added cost of just the hotel in general, but then also the added things? Yes. At this point, with the price that it is, even with the increases and even with paying to park, I do still feel like it is worth it to stay on Disney property. There's other benefits that you get for staying on Disney property that you would not get if you were not on Disney property. Plus just the fact of the experience, the enjoyment, the memories, the feeling, the 24/7 magic that you get by staying on Disney property versus staying off property. I still feel like it's worth it, and it's why we continue to go back every year. It's why we continue to stay on Disney property every year. And for these other reasons, it's why we continue to stay at Port Orleans Riverside every year. So just keep in mind, if you do have a valid handicap parking tag, that you don't have to pay to park. That is something that is really good. If you have that valid handicap tag, don't worry about that part because you won't have to pay to park, at least at this point. Those are my reasons why we stay at Port Orleans Riverside, and also some of the negatives of staying at Riverside and or a Disney resort in general. I hope you guys enjoyed it and it gave you a little bit of insight as to why we continue to go back, why we stay at the same resort over and over, and why I love it so much. So if you guys let me know in the comments, do you go to Disney? Do you stay on Disney property or do you not? And if you stay on Disney property, do you like to kind of try all the different resorts out? Do you like to stay at the same one every year? I'd be really curious to know kind of how you guys like to handle it. I'm definitely a creature of habit. Here at home I am, and definitely on vacation we tend to go to the same place every year. We stay at the same resort every year. We do a lot of the same things every year. So definitely that's kind of like my MO in life, is kind of consistency. But I'd like to know from you guys, do you like to stay at the same place? Do you like to go different places? So let me know all that stuff in the comments. Make sure you check out my Disney playlist. It is linked for you guys in the description box. Every Disney video I've ever made is in that playlist. So you can get on there and look at all the other videos I've made about planning a Disney vacation and fast passes and saving money at Disney and all of that good stuff. And you'll find the link for my daughter's t-shirt in the description box if you want to get one for yourself. I know she would really appreciate it. I would appreciate your all's support of her. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.